Thank you for keeping it tuned to Smooth 98.1, your love music, love life station. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning, 8th day in the month of October 2024, 31 minutes past 6 a.m. Ayokunmi right here with you on the Smooth Breakfast, your perfect start to the day. And we're going to get into the world of business on Business Express. Yes, yes, yes. Come through and be a part of this journey into the business stories making the rounds. You can join us on WhatsApp by sending your thoughts in on 0809 440 981. 0809 440 981. You can also catch us on YouTube. We're streaming live there. All you need to do is go to youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Joining me this morning to talk about the business stories is Oler Oladele. Good morning to you, Ola. Great to have you on once again.
Good morning. Good morning, Aya. Happy to be here.
All right, fantastic. Let's jump right in to this first story here. So yesterday, and I was torn between being worried and having a good laugh as well. But anyways, it has to do with this headline that says 60 million Nigerians bet daily. That's according to the lottery agency. Just to give a bit of context to that. Now, the Director General of the Cross River State Lottery Gaming Agency, that's Michael Ija, has revealed that about 60 million Nigerians engage in betting activities daily. He also said Nigeria's gaming industry is presently generating around 500 to 600 billion naira yearly. Now, Ola, walk us through the good and the bad of this, because I know that 60 million Nigerians betting daily. That is a lot
The
of people.
problem. It's a problem. If they are all doing 100 million, that's 6 billion. If they're all doing 100 naira, that's 6 billion. Abi? Yeah, that's 6 billion daily
I mean, I mean,
going
look,
into betting.
I
How
mean,
much
look,
is the payouts?
looking at this 500 to 600 billion naira yearly. So that would not be far-fetched.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's I saw it and I laughed. I just the same way you did because I'm like, okay, on one side, this is quite worrisome. And it's also a reflection of the economy. Because yeah, people are trying to try their luck to see how they can blow fast. You understand? So
Hmm.
that side is so there's that angle where people are really trying their luck to see how they can blow. But on the other side, it was just like, man, there's a massive opportunity here. There's some ecosystem here, and how can we tap into it? Why? Because these 60 million people, like based on the numbers, if you can get them to do 100 naira daily,
Hmm.
right? Um, and maybe the payout is 1 million. You think about it. They would have made so much and
That's a
just pay
drop.
out
That's a drop in the ocean.
something like, eh?
That's a drop in the ocean.
Yes, and if someone um bets 100 naira and makes 1 million, that person's mind will be blown, right? But for the betting agency, they have cleaned out. They can dedicate 1 million a day and still be happy. Um, but then it's one of those things. I think it's just a reflection of the way the economy is right now and how people just need a break or a breather or a miracle, right? And so they are trying their luck. I wish them Godspeed. I wish them I wish them Godspeed. That's all I can say.
But looking at it from the point of view of the betting agencies, I mean, looking at these numbers, is there an upside economically? Another way to look at this.
So the fact is that anywhere there's an economy where money is moving around, there's always an upside. Because if you're a betting agency and let's say you started with 100 people and now you are at 500 people or 1,000 people coming every day, the fact is that you're going to hire more people, right? Either you're going to hire more people or maybe you are going to move to an app, you're going to pay a developer, you're going to pay a product
Hmm.
manager, a UI UX person. So anytime there's money moving around, right, there's always value. Value can be created. Yes, some places might be low entry points, high economy. meaning the amount of money you need to pay people compared to the amount of money you make might be like the difference might be a whole lot. So your profits might be massive. But every time there's an economy, which is why I thought that, oh, there's some value here. There's an ecosystem here that if you're able to plug into, it might be quite profitable.
Mm,
Because with anytime money is moving around, if you can find a way to plug into it, you'll be happy.
mm. But I mean, looking at that fact, we all know that when it comes to, gaming, gambling, betting, and all that, there is always that very huge risk. There's that popular saying that no matter what happens, the house always wins. Is there any way that we can actually manage the negative sides of gaming? Yes, the economy is bad. Yes, people are trying to find other ways to make themselves some money real quick, but it is something that one can actually get sucked into so quickly and so quietly without even realizing that you've been hooked by the neck like a bow tie.
So it's one of those things that I can almost say now, somebody's trying to blow. You are saying, manage the bad side. What is the bad side? The bad side is that we continue to be blue. Do you understand? Um, and it's one of those things that I think the only thing that as a society we can say is okay, maybe you don't start betting until you're 18 or something, where you should have seen enough in life to know that this thing is risky, right? But betting is one of those things that I can't see any way you can sort of on a general societal level control. But as an individual, I would say that it's fine for you to do that extra thing just in case that can make you blue. But I would say
Mm,
have your limit. If you bet every day and you can afford 100 naira a day, stick with 100 naira. Even if that the day you make 100 naira, the day you put 100 naira, you make 1 million, still bring out 100 naira for the next day and keep the 999 whatever to yourself. I think as individuals, you have to be responsible for your betting. Take note, I am not a proponent of the betting theory. I'm just saying that if you decide to go that route, because I
mm.
do know people in that space, and I have a friend who runs a business like that, and literally he saw a guy put 100 naira, the guy made 100K, and then the guy was like, if I can put 100 naira and make 100K, that means if I put 100K,
Oh no.
I
Oh
would.
no.
And the guy left there without transport. Yeah, they had to give him transport money to go home that day.
The house always wins at
but
the end
but
of the
then
day.
yes, the house always wins. But if you are, I think the major things are if you are lucky to get something of the house, bank it and then continue with the small thing you were doing. That's I think that for me is what people don't really get. I think there's even some story going around about some guy that was trading options and he's suing a bank, blah blah blah. I mean, it's the same spirit. If you make unexpected astronomical profit, bank a portion of it, then put the remaining small thing there to continue the small 1K you were doing before. It's the same spirit. That's I think upon managing the bad side of betting is on an individual level. No one can regulate it.
Mm. Okay, you know what? Just let's hold on to that in our left or right hands, depending on what hand you are handed with. Activities in Nigeria's industrial sector contracted again in September, marking the ninth consecutive decline in 2024, with the PMI at 49.7. Now, this is according to the Purchasing Managers Index, the PMI, published by the Central Bank of Nigeria, where business activities in the month under review, composite PMI reached 50.7 in the month, indicating an expansion in economic activities for the second consecutive month. Now, looking at that, Ola, I mean, does this further buttress the place for the gambling industry?
Well, the truth about that, when there are contractions in production activity, means that people have lost their jobs somehow or the other.
Mm,
Because if you are measuring and people were doing 100 and people are now at 70, that 30, you can't keep on paying salaries. At some point, you would shut it down, right? So I think all this news is just a reflection of what we can all see and feel, and what in the bid to have that blow, people would end up going into gambling, right? So I do think it does. I do think that what we may find in a better economy is that maybe the volumes that the betting agencies might be making might be more, but they might have
Okay.
less people betting, right? Because there's more economic power. So you might have less people looking to betting as an option to blow. But what you might find is that the purchasing power, so if they are doing 100, naira, they might now be doing 500 naira, but it will be fewer
Mm,
people, if you get what I mean. But
okay.
I do think that it's a reflection of the economic situation right now.
Okay, let me take a message here or messages here. Um, Taya in a just says people are really trying their luck in gambling their little money away. In brackets, he says addiction. While bet owners are saying thank you and collecting their money. People are too desperate to cash out in this economy where a lot of negatives are happening. There's a story of someone who won a huge sum, but the betting company didn't pay. And they are in court now. Yes, that's something that tends to happen, and which also raises another issue of terms and conditions. I mean, it could be the gambling institution. It could be anywhere else. It could be with another institution or something where we tend not to read the fine print. I mean, I will put my hand up and say I've been guilty of just scrolling, and because it's always this long bit of small print and just like
Yeah,
scrolling. Let me just get to the end and click
I
accept
agree.
and move on. So I mean, that could be one of the reasons that that particular person is in court at the moment. But that being said, and I actually agree with Tayo 110%. There are so many people who are trying their luck because they believe they have no other place to go. They have no other opportunities, no other chances, as they were. Let me just I have this 500. Let me just put it on these games. Maybe I can win 500K, something like that. But there is nothing as guaranteed. I mean, what would you say to someone like that? Instead of putting your money right there, what else could the person possibly do with that money that might not be as, should I say, risky as placing a
Mm.
bet?
Yeah. So it's one of those things where when people are really trying to double their money, like we're at that point where this money needs to double, it's really hard for you to convince them otherwise. It's really, really hard. I think that's the first thing. And I think the best way to convince is by telling stories of what could go wrong, right? However, there's also that side that if you tell them one good story and you tell them 100 bad stories, that one good story becomes an anchor and they believe that they could be that one person. So just putting it out there such that by the time you start saying, okay, you have only 5K, go and put it in savings bond, it will be giving you maybe at, let's say 20%, to be giving you 300 every quarter. It looks like, I don't understand. I'm trying to blow here. You're telling me 300, right? And that's just the reality. Like, I'm not even trying to. If you are that, if you know, there's a point where your financial situation is very, very tight, I would
Right,
say before my first advice to you really will be before you even start gambling, just make sure that the things you need to cover your basic bills are covered. Like the amount you need to cover the basics are there, first of all, right?
right,
Then
right,
put a space
right,
of something boring, like a savings bond that, like, what's the point? Or any what's the point type investment, just put into it. Then after that, you can, the extra on top, you can use it for your gambling. Um, and I say that because anybody that is inclined towards gambling that is listening right now, if you tell the person go and do stocks, you wait for 2 naira 50 kobo dividend next year. We are talking about gambling that will show me return straight up. Do you understand? And I can
right.
put my 100 naira. It's very, very tough, especially in this economic situation. So I would say two things. If you are in that point where the economic power is quite low, focus on how you can make more money. That's just the reality. Focus on how you can make more money. What else can you do to make more money? Number one. Then before you go into your gambling, make sure that the money for the things that are important are there. Don't touch it. And then add some extra on top for emergency so that if something happens, you have shock absorber. Then put something inside those boring things. After that, whatever you want to do, feel free to do. And it's just me being real. It's just me. I'm
Mm,
not going to tell someone that is inclined with gambling. There's no English, oh. There's no English you can speak until
Well,
their eyes open for themselves. There's no
well,
English you can
well, maybe a local language or another language you understand. Maybe not English, but hey, I
speak.
get what it is that you mean. Cisco Delgado says, in the computer world, there's a shortcut, but not in real life. I don't believe that making great money lies in gambling. There's nothing as something for nothing. That's according to Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Thank you for that, Cisco. Cruz says, like Ola said, if it be you is a stronger appeal than apply or play with what you can afford to part with. Thank you very much for the messages. And thank you so much, Ola, for joining me this morning on Business Express. I had a great time, and of course, I've learned a couple of things as well. And for those who are inclined to gamble here and there, please do it responsibly. Very important. All right, well, have a great Tuesday ahead.
Bye.
And thank you all for your messages and joining in on Business Express. Keep it tuned to the Smooth Breakfast this beautiful Tuesday morning on Smooth 98.1. There's more great music lined up for you as we count down to 7:30 and freshly pressed.